Fix this, kid, and I'll give you 100 million. Dr. Harrison Blake jabbed his finger at 8-year-old Maya Williams as if she were a nuisance. Maya froze, clutching her backpack while her mother emptied trash around 200 silent investors. Blake's face twisted with cruel amusement. Maybe a child can solve what my MIT graduates can't. Laughter rippled through the MathCore Industries boardroom. Her mother tried to pull her toward the exit. 2 million livestream viewers watched Blake crush a little girl's dignity for sport. Behind him, screens flashed error messages. His billion-dollar AI system had crashed 3 days ago. His team of experts looked helpless. Maya stared at the screens with sharp focus. Her fingers twitched like she was solving invisible equations. None of the adults noticed the spark in her eyes. They were about to learn the most expensive lesson of their lives. The crisis began 72 hours earlier when MathCore's autonomous vehicle AI started making deadly calculation errors. Cars crashed. Lawsuits piled up. Blake's stock dropped $3 billion. Now, in a marble-walled boardroom in Manhattan, Blake faced the toughest critics of all. Toyota's executives sat stone-faced. BMW's team whispered in German. Ford reps checked their phones, calculating MathCore's losses. We're experiencing temporary technical difficulties with our core algorithm, Blake said, trying to hide his desperation. My team assures me we'll have a solution soon. Toyota's CEO interrupted. Your system killed 4 people in Tokyo yesterday. Blake clenched his jaw. Behind him, 50 engineers hunched over laptops. Harvard PhDs, MIT grads, Stanford prodigies, all failing spectacularly. Dr. Sarah Carter, his lead architect, stepped forward. We've tried everything. Recalibrations, rewrites, nothing works. 2.3 million viewers watched online. Tech blogs declared MathCore dead. Social media mocked Blake's arrogance. Maya watched quietly, unnoticed except by her mother. She had spent years in these buildings, learning from discarded manuals and overheard conversations. The server room was her playground. The hum of cooling fans, her lullaby. Blake paced. This is why standards matter. Real programming requires education, Ivy League degrees, years of training. Intelligence isn't democratic, it's earned. Rosa, Maya's mother, bent over another trash bin, thinking of 20 years spent watching brilliance unfold while her daughter went unseen. Blake's phone buzzed constantly. Board members, shareholders, competitors, all smelled blood. Every major tech company was ready to bid for MathCore's patents once bankruptcy hit. The automotive executives are threatening to leave, his assistant whispered. Blake straightened his tie. This was supposed to show MathCore's dominance. Instead, it was a public execution. Deals, jobs, and the future of autonomous vehicles hung in the balance. Maya shifted in her chair, observing patterns adults had missed. She had been quietly studying the screens, noticing something simple that everyone else overlooked. Her mother moved toward her. Time to go. Maya stayed focused. Mommy, wait. Blake lectured the executives when Maya spoke. Excuse me. 200 heads turned toward an 8-year-old. Blake scowled. Not now, sweetheart. Adults are working. Maya stepped forward. I think I see what's wrong. Chuckles ran through the room. Blake sneered. That's cute, but maybe stick to coloring books. Dr. Carter stepped in, but Maya interrupted. The computer is confused. Blake waved at the screens. Yes, obviously it's malfunctioning. That's why we have 50 experts. No, Maya said. It's not broken. It just doesn't understand what you're asking. The room froze. She pointed at the screen. You told the computer to do something, but you meant to ask a question. Dr. Carter followed her finger to a buried line of code. It's like saying your name is Sarah instead of asking, is your name Sarah? The computer gets mixed up. Blake hesitated. That's not how programming works. Can I show you? Maya asked. 3 million viewers watched online. Hashtag 8-year-old versus so trended worldwide. Toyota's CEO leaned in. Let's see. Blake had no choice. Fine. Dr. Carter, let her show us. If nothing happens, we return to serious work. Maya pointed at the screen. The computer thinks you're changing something instead of checking it. Fix how you ask the question. Dr. Carter carefully made one small change. She hit enter. Error messages disappeared. Status lights shifted from red to green. Within a minute, the AI system ran perfectly for the first time in 3 days. Maya smiled. Sometimes computers just need you to ask nicely. Blake froze. watching a child solve what his team could not. Phones buzzed. Executives leaned forward, now very interested. Chaos erupted. Engineers confirmed the system worked. 3 days of failure fixed by a child's observation. Blake's face showed disbelief, embarrassment, and anger. Dr. Carter checked diagnostics. She's right. Response time improved 40%. Errors dropped to 0. Toyota's CEO asked to see metrics. Green bars and upward graphs filled the screen. The executives whispered excitedly. Blake's authority slipped. Even if that's true, he said, anyone could have noticed eventually. Maya tilted her head. But you didn't. And time costs money, doesn't it? Investors texted updates. Social media exploded. Hashtag #HashMiaTheGenius trended alongside hashtag #BlakeTheBlind. Stock prices reacted in real time. Blake barked. One lucky guess doesn't make her a programmer. Real software engineering requires degrees and years of training. Maya looked around. Sometimes you just need fresh eyes. Dr. Carter asked, how did you see that? You all focused on the hard parts, Maya explained. The mistake was in the easy part. Nobody checks the easy parts. BMW's director asked, what other easy parts haven't we checked? Maya studied the screens. There are more. Want me to show you? Blake stepped forward. Absolutely not. We have protocols and professional standards. Toyota's CEO shot him a look. Are you afraid she'll find more mistakes? The question hovered in the air like a trap. Blake suddenly realized he was stuck, cornered by his own pride. If he said yes, he'd admit he needed help from a child. If he said no, he'd look terrified of one. Fine, Blake muttered, jaw tight. But when she can't find anything else, this nonsense ends. Maya walked toward the massive display with quiet confidence. She studied the stream of code for just 30 seconds, then pointed casually. Here. Same mistake. You're telling the car to speed up instead of asking whether it should. Dr. Carter checked the line. Her face turned pale. She's right. Again. And here, Maya continued, pointing to another section. The car thinks it should always brake hard, instead of checking how hard it needs to. More typing. More verification. More engineers confirming her accuracy. How are you doing this? Dr. Carter whispered. Maya shrugged with simple innocence. When my mom cleans windows, she checks every corner. You all only looked at the middle. Blake stood frozen, watching his team of elite engineers, MIT graduates, high-paid experts, being corrected by a little girl who learned code by watching through office windows. And right there, on live television, his billion-dollar company was unraveling. Even if she found a few basic mistakes, Blake said desperately, that doesn't mean she understands our complex systems. Maya looked straight at him. I don't know everything. I just know when a computer is being asked the wrong question. Ford's representative spoke up. How many wrong questions are there? Maya scanned the screens one more time. A lot. Maybe hundreds. Once you see one, you start seeing them everywhere. The room erupted, half in horror, half in amazement. Hundreds of errors meant their vehicles had been unsafe for months. But it also meant this child could save lives. Blake's voice cracked. This is impossible. She can't just walk in here. Actually, BMW's technical director cut in. She's shown more useful insight in 10 minutes than your team has produced in 3 days. Online, the live stream exploded. Comments poured in. Professors from Stanford and MIT scrambled online to verify the child's findings. Reporters started drafting headlines. Dr. Carter looked at Maya differently now. Maya, would you help us find the rest? She's 8. Blake snapped. This is a billion-dollar corporation, not a daycare. Toyota's CEO spoke coldly. Then maybe your billion-dollar corporation needs better engineers. The insult landed like a punch. Blake's own clients were turning against him, and all because of a child. Maya's mother, Rosa, stepped forward, overwhelmed. Maya, maybe we should let them work. These people are busy. No, Ford's rep said firmly. Maya's work is the most important thing happening in this room. Blake felt his authority slipping away. His team was failing. His clients were siding with the child. Millions were watching him lose control. But Maya wasn't finished. Blake's phone suddenly buzzed nonstop. Stock prices were rising, up 12% in just 1 hour. Social media crowned Maya the prodigy who saved Mathker. Hiring debates exploded across LinkedIn. News outlets wanted interviews. Investors smelled profit. Toyota's CEO stood. Dr. Blake, I suggest we extend this consultation. If she can find critical flaws your team missed, perhaps she should review your other systems too. Blake's chest tightened. Ridiculous. We're dealing with life and death technology. Autonomous vehicles, military systems, hospital equipment. And BMW's director interrupted. Shouldn't we trust someone who's already proven more competent than your engineers? The live viewer count hit 4.2 million. CNN prepared a breaking story. Maya ignored the chaos, studying new screens, traffic control, hospital machines, financial trading algorithms. Maya, Dr. Carter asked gently, what do you see here? Blake lunged forward. Don't answer that. These systems run global infrastructure. One mistake could. Could what? Maya asked. Make them work better? The room froze. Blake's objection suddenly sounded foolish. If she improved the cars, why not everything else? Ford's representative opened his laptop. Dr. Blake, our data shows her fixes eliminated 93% of processing errors. That alone would save millions in insurance costs. Blake snapped. This is absurd. She doesn't understand regulations, compliance, corporate responsibility. Maya tilted her head. Do computers care about those things? What? Computers don't care who gives the instructions. They just need the right ones. Dr. Carter couldn't help smiling. She's right. Blake's last shred of authority crumbled. His assistant rushed over. Sir, Microsoft is on line 1. Google is holding on line 2. They both want to speak with Maya. The room buzzed again. Tech giants were trying to recruit an 8-year-old right in front of him. Investors called nonstop. Reporters hunted for quotes. Competitors circled like sharks. This has gone far enough, Blake said sharply. Maya, thank you, but it's time to go home. Actually, Toyota's CEO replied, we'd like her to stay. We'll pay consultancy fees. You can't hire her. Blake exploded. She's a child. There are laws. Maya looked at the arguing adults like they were silly. Can I just keep looking at the screens? I won't break anything. Her innocence silenced them. How could anyone say no? Dr. Carter pulled up the hospital system. Take a look, Maya. She studied it, then pointed. Same problem. Wrong questions. Wrong commands. More typing. More confirmation. Each correction improved performance. Blake watched a child expose years of hidden failures. Then came the financial trading system. 17 major errors in 20 minutes. Mistakes that could have lost billions. Finally, Blake snapped. Stop. The room went silent. I said stop. His voice shook. This is my company. My systems. My team. I won't let. He stopped himself, scrambling for words that wouldn't make him a monster. Some untrained child humiliate us. Maya looked at him with devastating honesty. I'm not making you look incompetent. You were incompetent already. I'm just showing everyone. Silence crushed the room. Blake had just been destroyed by logic. A child's logic. But Maya wasn't done. Her biggest revelation hadn't even begun. Across the internet, the clip went viral instantly. I'm not making you look incompetent. You already were. Hashtags exploded. Hashtag Maya roasts Blake. Hashtag prodigy programmer. Hashtag child genius versus L. And Blake snapped. Fine, he barked. You think you're smart? Let's make this interesting. He motioned to his assistant, who wheeled out a massive display showing Mathker's entire infrastructure. Millions of lines controlling traffic lights, hospitals, trading systems, military devices. 24 hours, Blake said. Fix every error in all our systems. If you succeed, I'll write you a check for $100 million. Gasps spread through the room. He was gambling everything just to crush an 8-year-old. But when you fail, he said with a cruel smile, you and your mother leave, and we announce you got lucky today. Nothing more. Maya looked at the vast wall of data, millions of errors, millions of decisions. Impossible for a team of experts, let alone one child. Rosa protectively touched her shoulder. Maya, you don't need to do this. You've already proven yourself. Maya kept staring at the screen. Calm. Focused. It's okay, Mommy. I see the patterns now. Dr. Carter stepped closer, worried. Maya, this isn't like the simple fixes. This is highly complex infrastructure. If anything fails. Blake smirked. Exactly. Real systems need real expertise. Not cheap tricks from a child. Executives looked uncertain. Had Blake been right all along? Had Maya's success just been luck? Blake leaned in. If you're scared, we can stop now. No shame in admitting you're out of your depth. Maya looked at him steadily. I'm not scared, Mr. Blake. Are you? The tension snapped like lightning. Blake realized he had been trapped again by an 8-year-old. Backing down wasn't an option now. Fine, he growled. 24 hours. Starting now. At precisely 2:17 p.m., the clock began ticking. Maya sat at Dr. Carter's workstation, her small hands barely reaching the keyboard. The main screen displayed system after system: financial networks, medical databases, transportation grids, communication infrastructure. Hour 1. Maya began building a strategy. Instead of reading every line of code, she looked for repeating patterns. The same types of mistakes appeared across different systems. Hour 3. The first breakthrough. Maya identified 5 recurring error patterns that showed up hundreds of times in MathCure's software. Each mistake traced back to the same basic confusion. Programmers were mixing, asking, and telling in their instructions. Blake paced nervously, checking his watch again and again. The live stream now had over 6 million viewers. People were literally betting online about Mia's chances. Hour 5. Her strategy started paying off. She found clusters of errors in their financial system, problems that could have caused real market crashes. Dr. Carter double-checked the findings, looking more shocked each time. Blake tried psychological pressure. Getting tired yet, Maya? This isn't like finding 1 or 2 little bugs. This is serious work. Hour 8. Over 200 critical errors. Each fix improved system performance. Maya's method worked, but the scale of the problem was massive. Blake sensed doubt forming in the room. Look at her. She's exhausted. This is exactly why age restrictions exist in professional fields. Rosa brought her daughter a sandwich, worried. Mija, maybe you should rest. I'm okay, Mommy, Maya insisted. I'm starting to understand how Mr. Blake's programmers think. They make the same mistakes every time. Hour 12. Midnight. More than 400 errors found. Thousands more lines of code still untouched. Blake's confidence returned as fatigue spread across Maya's face. Perhaps we should call this off. It's past a child's bedtime. Media coverage exploded. Some argued Blake was exploiting a child. Others claimed this was an important lesson in humility. Hour 16. Maya uncovered something alarming in hospital software. Not just sloppy mistakes, but security weaknesses that allowed patient data to be stolen. Mr. Blake, she said softly. Bad people could use this to steal sick people's private information. Blake brushed it off. Our security is industry standard. You wouldn't understand cybersecurity. But when Dr. Carter scanned deeper, her expression turned pale. Blake, she's right. The vulnerabilities are real. Hour 20. Maya pushed forward on sheer determination. Over 600 errors exposed, but Blake changed the rules. Even if you find 1,000 problems, he claimed, that doesn't mean you understand testing, deployment, or quality assurance. Maya stared at him, tired but unfazed. I understand that your computers are scared and confused. They just need someone to give them clear instructions. Hour 22. She found her final discovery. Deep in MathCure's systems were deliberate backdoors, secret access points someone had been using for months. Mr. Blake, Maya whispered urgently, someone is stealing from your computers. His face turned white. Hour 24. Time was up. Maya had found 847 errors across MathCure's entire digital infrastructure and exposed a massive data breach that could have destroyed the company. Blake, once confident, now stood humiliated. The 8-year-old he tried to embarrass had just saved his billion-dollar empire. Yet Maya still had one final truth to expose. Executives from major automotive companies stared at Blake, waiting. 6 million viewers held their breath. Maya sat quietly, exhausted but victorious. Well, Dr. Blake, Toyota's CEO asked, does the child receive her $100 million? Blake opened his mouth, stunned. But before he could speak, Maya revealed something even more devastating. The backdoors weren't the work of external hackers. They had the same spacing, same variable names, same formatting, even the same spelling mistakes as MathCure's own programmers. Dr. Carter verified it. The malicious code was written with internal standards. Worse, written at the same time as the original code. This wasn't sabotage. It was incompetence. Systemic, trained incompetence. For years, MathCure had been teaching programmers to write broken code. Blake panicked. Stocks began to collapse live as investors realized the truth. Maya asked softly, why did you try to blame other people for mistakes your company made? His lie hung in the air, poisoning what remained of his reputation. Trying to recover, Blake argued that fixing the systems could destroy the company. If we change anything based on a child's suggestions, the damage could be catastrophic. Traffic systems, hospitals, markets. One change could break everything. Even some executives wavered, afraid of legal consequences. For the first time, Maya hesitated. Maybe Mr. Blake is right. Maybe I don't understand business. Blake sees control. Exactly. You're bright, Maya, but real systems need risk assessments and compliance measures. This is adult work. Maya looked small, overwhelmed by corporate language. Rosa stepped in protectively, ready to pull her daughter away. But Dr. Carter knelt beside her. The question isn't whether you know everything. The question is whether what you found is real. Maya studied the performance data. Numbers don't lie. The computers are confused. They're working harder than they need to because instructions aren't clear. Blake pressed harder. What if fixing them breaks something? What if your changes hurt people? The weight of responsibility crushed the child's confidence until she lifted her head with quiet clarity. If the computers are confused, won't people get hurt anyway? The room froze. Maya continued with simple, undeniable truth. Isn't it more dangerous to leave broken things than to fix them? Dr. Carter smiled. She's right. The greatest risk is doing nothing. And Blake's entire argument collapsed under the simplest logic imaginable, a child telling the truth. Maya straightened her posture, her confidence returning. I don't know about business, she said calmly, but I know the computers are asking for help. The room held its breath. Everyone waited to see if Blake would continue his desperate fight against an 8-year-old's unshakable clarity. But Maya wasn't finished. The final confrontation was just beginning. Could fear of change overpower the simple truth that change is necessary? Blake realized his scare tactics were collapsing against Maya's logic. If he wanted to destroy her credibility now, he needed to attack her competence directly. All right, Blake announced, sounding dangerously calm. Let's settle this once and for all. He motioned to his assistant, who pulled up Mathker's most complex system on the main screen. Walls of code filled every display, dense calculations, advanced algorithms, and intricate logic. This, Blake declared, is our quantum encryption protocol. It protects financial transactions worth $3 trillion every single day. If even one calculation is wrong, the entire global banking system could collapse. The room tensed. This was no longer about cars or navigation. This was technology holding up the world economy. Blake smiled sharply. Maya, if you're such an expert, fix this system too. But understand, one mistake here doesn't just crash a product. It crashes civilization. Maya stared at the overwhelming code, quantum mathematics, cryptographic algorithms, security layers. Even Dr. Carter looked intimidated. Blake, Dr. Carter whispered urgently, this is too much. She's only a child. Exactly, Blake replied loudly, making sure everyone heard. Real systems require real expertise, not tricks from someone who learned programming by watching through Windows. The automotive executives exchanged uneasy looks. Toyota's CEO frowned. BMW's technical director shook his head. Maya looked tiny standing before the massive screens. 6 million viewers watched in silence. Was this the moment she would finally fail? If this is too difficult, Blake said with a mocking tone, there's no shame in admitting you've reached your limits. Maya looked up with steady calm. Mr. Blake, can I ask a question first? What? He snapped. Do you understand all this code? Blake straightened proudly. Of course. I designed the core architecture myself. MIT PhD, quantum cryptography specialist. Then, Maya asked softly, why is it running so slowly? Blake glanced at the performance metrics. The system was only running at 60% efficiency. He waved it off. That's normal. Quantum encryption trades speed for security. Maya nodded thoughtfully. But what if it could run faster and be more secure at the same time? That's impossible, Blake barked. You either choose speed or safety. Basic physics. Maya studied the screens, absorbing patterns that no one else could see. Mr. Blake, she said, your quantum computer is making the same mistake as your car computer. Blake laughed harshly. Quantum encryption doesn't use simple if-then statements, Maya. This is advanced math. Particle physics. You're out of your depth. Maya interrupted quietly. But underneath all the math, the computer still needs clear instructions, right? Dr. Carter stepped closer, following Maya's train of thought. What are you seeing? Maya pointed to a hidden section of the quantum algorithms. Right here. The computer is trying to check if the encryption key is valid, but instead of testing it, it keeps changing it. Blake rushed to the screen. His face went pale. That's not possible. The verification protocol doesn't use assignment operators. This part does, Maya said simply. The part that talks to the normal computers. Dr. Carter traced the code. Her expression collapsed into shock. Blake, she's found the bottleneck. The quantum processor is perfect. The interface layer is making the same mistake we saw everywhere else. Even now, Blake tried to defend himself. Even if that's true, changing quantum encryption is too risky. It's not risky, Maya said calmly. Because I'm not changing the quantum part. Just the part that asks the quantum part questions. Silence dropped over the room. Maya wasn't rewriting rocket science. She was fixing the way the system spoke to rocket science. She explained it simply. If you have a really smart friend who can answer any question, but you keep asking the question wrong, you'll think the smart friend doesn't know the answer. Dr. Carter made the tiny adjustment, a single symbol. The system jumped from 60% to 94% output. Security surged. The quantum encryption finally performed the way it was designed to. Blake stared in defeat. His greatest achievement perfected by a child's basic logic. Toyota's CEO rose. Maya, how many systems have this same problem? Maya looked around at the screens. All of them. Every system that talks to other systems has confused conversations. Blake realized the truth. His company had never worked at full potential. His training programs had crippled everything they built. Maya asked him with innocent honesty, "Why did you teach your programmers to write confused instructions?" Executives watched in horror as Dr. Carter fixed system after system. Each one instantly improved. Maya hadn't solved individual bugs. She had found the root cause. Toyota's CEO stood formally. This child hasn't just earned her $100 million. She has revolutionized system integration. Blake opened his mouth to protest, but no sound came. His authority dissolved under the weight of simple, undeniable truth. The room waited for his response. 6 million viewers held their breath. Maya stood quietly, having proven that complexity often hides the simplest problems. But something bigger was about to surface. Maya's fixes had exposed something buried deeper. The head of security burst into the room. "Sir, we have a major problem. The system improvements triggered our monitoring protocols." Blake froze. "What kind of problem?" When Maya sped up the systems, the security chief explained. She revealed something hidden. "Our servers have been compromised for 18 months. The screens lit up with proof of massive data theft. Dr. Carter traced the breach patterns, horrified. "Blake, someone hid espionage inside our performance bottlenecks." Maya just uncovered it. "What's data extraction?" Maya asked. "Stealing," Dr. Carter replied. "And because you fixed the confusion, the thieves can't hide anymore." The FBI was already calling. Stock markets were reacting. Global partners demanded answers. Maya had exposed the largest cyber espionage case in the tech world. Blake realized she hadn't just saved his empire. She had caught criminals no expert could detect. Soon the room filled with FBI agents. News cameras swarmed. Blake faced the world again, but this time with humility. "I owe someone an apology," he began, voice shaking. "And a very large check." He turned to the girl sitting beside her mother. "Maya Williams, you've earned the $100 million. You saved this company. You exposed crime. And you reminded us all that clarity matters more than credentials." The room erupted in applause. Millions watching online sent heart reactions in real time. "I apologize for underestimating you," Blake continued. "For assuming intelligence requires age, degrees, or status. You showed us it requires honesty." Maya smiled softly. "It's okay, Mr. Blake. Grown-ups make mistakes too." Her work inspired a movement. Companies began hiring fresh eyes consultants. Universities opened programs for unconventional thinkers. Parents began listening differently to their children. But the real change happened inside individual hearts. People who had been ignored found courage to speak. Maya proved brilliance doesn't need permission. It needs someone willing to see clearly and tell the truth. How many other Mayas are waiting to be heard? Share this story if you believe talent deserves recognition, no matter the age, background, or credentials. Like, comment, and subscribe to help us find the next overlooked genius who could change the world. Tell us in the comments. Have you ever been underestimated? If someone trusted your ideas, what would you fix? Here at Black Voices Uncut, we don't polish the truth. We deliver it raw. If this story moved you, hit like, comment your reaction, and subscribe. Every week, we bring you voices the world tried to silence.